Surviving a deadly disease is in the blood here. 350 years ago, a tailor in the village of Eyam ordered some cloth from London. It was infested with fleas, carrying the plague, and the tailor was dead in days. The village acted quickly to prevent the spread. A perimeter was put around the village, and this is one of the stones that marks the boundary. Nobody was allowed in and nobody was allowed out. The village had put itself into lockdown. 260 people died here, but many more were saved.
I think there is something about Eyam people that does resonate, that they've, in a small isolated village, there's a stoniness and a resilience here that I like to think, maybe fancifully, reflects back on 350 years ago.
The people of Eyam have had to call on that resilience again, fighting COVID like their ancestors fought the Great Plague. But now it's time to open up again, and that has brought fear and anticipation.
I personally think it's a little bit premature, but, you know, scientists know best, so you've got to trust what they're saying, really. You've got to follow the advice and keep your mask on.
Good morning, Eyam Surgery, how can I help?
At the village surgery, they know an increase in cases could mean busy times are still ahead. GP Dr. Ben Milton has been leading the vaccine rollout here.
I think there's a real sense of trepidation. I mean, clearly that's tinged with some real excitement. We all want to get back to something we recognise as a bit more normal, but there's no doubt the impact, certainly for us in general practice and in healthcare widely, is going to be significant going forwards over the next few weeks and months still.
This is the busiest time of the year for villages like Eyam. The Cool Stone restaurant is getting ready to welcome more visitors.
We have to get back to society, back to a way of living with COVID. It's not going away. And I think, you know, at the end of the day, it comes back to weighing up the odds of the pandemic versus society coping within the pandemic. So I think it has to be done, ultimately.
And even amongst friends enjoying the sunshine and the fresh air, there's a split in opinion.
When masks are no longer compulsory, if some people feel uncomfortable with that, they can't say anything because they've no weight behind that anymore.
I wouldn't invalidate my friends' views, but I think, yeah, massive mass panic for very little, really.
350 years ago, Eyam reopened after 14 months in isolation. The crisis was over. Today, it's hoped the same is true. Nick Martin, Sky News, Eyam.